Hey friends, a couple days ago I was watching some interviews with major leaguers about their experiences with Stan Getz. All right, I'm talking other musicians who were alive and working back in the day. And if you don't know who Stan Getz is, you need to stop this right now and go Google Stan Getz and then listen. Probably one of the best, all-time best tenor saxophone players on the planet. All right. Now, Johnny Mandel was asked about his experience with Stan Getz, and the interviewer said, "Why did you like Stan?" He said, I quote, I wrote it down here, it's in my notebook. Johnny Mandel, by the way, was a composer with 5 Grammy Awards. He worked with Count Basie, Sinatra, Barbra Streisand, Tony Bennett, and many, many, many more. So Johnny Mandel. He was a wonderful interpreter of my music, Mandel told the interviewer. He made everything sound like a song rather than a bunch of chords put together and blown over. I'm going to say that again, all right? Stan Getz made everything sound like a song rather than a bunch of chords put together and blown over. Oh man, did that ever hit home. And I thought, that's exactly what we've been training you to sound like for the longest time. A bunch of chords put together and blown over, right? We teach you scales, we teach you chord theory, we teach you arpeggios, we teach you, and I'm not going to ping on anybody, but the method books that are available to us today really lay things out in terms of chords, scales, and arpeggios, right? So many of the teachers, so many of the things that you see here on YouTube are about that exactly. What to taking apart what so and so did over this 251, and it becomes less about music and more about something like a chess game, right? A bunch of chords put together and blown over. Oh man, it's no fault again of your own. This is how you've been trained. This is how academia teaches you, and at some point you're supposed to make the changeover from blowing inverted arpeggios or God knows what else over chord changes, over the changes. You're supposed to turn that into music. Somehow you're supposed to become a composer. And that's what Stan Getz was so good at. David Sanborn. Let's think about, how about Pink Floyd? David Gilmour. His solos are marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. And so these soloists were so good at composing music on the spot, right, to fit in with a song. Now, I'm not going to say that, what I'm about to tell you will get you there, but it's going to get you there faster than learning chord. You got to learn your horn, all right? You have to know your horn. You have to be agile. You got to know the horn. And that's something that the musicians I mentioned, the three, David Gilmour, Stan Getz, and David Sanborn, the alto sax a genius who passed away just recently. They knew their horns, they knew their instrument, they knew their guitars, whatever. They knew their instruments. They spent a lot of time getting to know the instrument. Now, one of the things that we don't teach you, but I'm going to lay out there today, is to build up your repertoire. And I'm going to say that if you're headed toward a place where you want to, sit in and solo and play along with, say, your community big band, or you want to, go to the blues jam on Sunday, or if you want to join the jazz jam or start a combo of your own and you want to start playing better solos, this is really going to help you more than anything else, and that is to develop a repertoire. Repertoire. It's so much fun to say, isn't it? It just rolls right off your tongue. Repertoire. That means you learn a bunch of songs, and I don't mean like, learn, I kind of halfway. No, you learn material, and I mean you memorize it. You stick it in here, and the intellectual hopper, as the late Peter Jennings called it, right? You learn this material. You get off the page as quickly as you can, or you learn it by ear. I'm not talking about transcribing a solo. That's a whole different lecture. This is learning songs. How many songs can you learn? Well, why don't you make it a goal? Why don't you make it a goal and learn? How about one a month? All right, that's kind of slow, But why don't you learn one a month? One a week could be better, but one a month, right? Um, Tony Romano, family member, once told me, I think he knows, I think he said in a conversation, and I quote Tony, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think he said he had a repertoire of a deep repertoire of something like 200 songs, and he plays with a lot of heavy cats. Robbie Coltrane, Joey DiFrancesco, uh, as a touring guitarist. Then he composes and has his own group and teaches as well. Tony, and so that's just an example. Do you want to get, no, you're not going to be touring at that level. And if you were, you wouldn't be watching this. You are going to learn some songs though. And now the next question is, what song should I learn, Dave? That's a great question. What do? Do you play jazz? Do you play R&B? Where do you live? Do you play blues? What are you doing? Rock and roll? Now you can Google, repertoire and there are experts who will tell you what you should learn in every genre. Okay. The other thing that you can do is just go to these sessions, and that would be even better for you just to go and hang out and listen. Get a set list, at the end of the evening. Get a set list from the big band or from the blues guy or whatever, the jazz. We put out a set list every Wednesday of what we're going to work on, what we're going to play, and that's available. And you can find those songs anywhere, right? They're in the real books. But that would be a good. You want to put a focus on this because God knows there's a lot of material to learn, but start learning it. Now, there are 2 steps to learning a song. Oh, gosh, there are. One is to learn the melody, and the other is to learn the harmony. And when I say learn the harmony, what I mean by that is to learn the chord changes, actually be able to arpeggiate the changes, play through the changes. If you're new to this, that's what the piano, guitar, and bass are doing, okay? You want to be able to do that as well. And my teacher years ago said, he would not let me say that I knew a song until I could play the melody, the head, and the turnaround, and the changes against a metronome. If I could do that, then he said, okay, you know this song now. Move along. Let's learn another one. Okay. So I'm so grateful for people that pushed me. And I'm not pushing you, but I'm saying that the best thing that you can do to get out of sounding like a bunch of chords put together and blown over, thank you, Johnny Mandel, is to learn repertoire. Why? How is that going to work? Well, because songs are made out of music theory, chords. They're made out of scales. Every song is built from all of the rough materials, and they're all put together in a way to make a melody, right? To make a song. And you can go crazy on all this stuff. You can learn, if there are lyrics, you can learn those. You can learn all the versions of it. You can study up on a song. Sherman Irby says you need to write your own lead sheets, right? Sherman Irby is first saxophone, first alto sax in the Lincoln Center Orchestra under the direction of Wynton Marsalis. He says, get you some lead sheets, make them out yourself. And he said, and he's tough. He said, write them in concert key. He said, you can do that. Write them all out in concert key. Make your own. And he said, with good effect, that, if you're into this, these are songs that you're going to be playing for the rest of your life. So you can go to that extreme, or you can just grab your real book and look up the songs that are most popular that you will find again on either YouTube, Google, or at the jam session, and start memorizing them. All right, and without getting too deep into this, I think where you really want to start is just focus on the melody. Get that melody, get the rhythm down, be able to play that, and be able to play that reliably over and over and over and over and over and over. And once you've got it, you've got it, and you don't have to cheat and look at the book, then move on. Grab another one. Okay. Grab as many melodies as you can and put them in here. You learn how music works that way. All right, how music works, how a song builds tension, how it releases that tension, how it begins, what the middle does, how it ends. All right, You do that over and over and over and over, right? I mean, you get yourself a nice little repertoire. Let's just say, to start out with, how about half a dozen, 6 songs, right? You get that, and you will find that you have learned so much about music intrinsically, right? Without having to, do all the other stuff that is suggested in many online courses. And again, I'm not criticizing them, but this is something that you can do on your own. And I can't make any money off of you. This is you just do this. Just sit down and do it. Is it hard? Yeah. Yeah. You spend a lot of time by yourself, you and your horn, right? But it's going to be worth it in the long run. I think you'll find that to be worth so much more to your development as a musician. So repertoire, okay? Would you go out and learn some songs? I'm opening up the studio for Zoom lessons, and if you'd like to partake, I'll put the information, the contact information in the comments below. Put comments, talk to me, feedback, tell us what you do. Share your methods with us, okay? Because we're all students here, including me. Thanks for being here. It's all I got. Got to go. You take care. Be good to each other. Play your saxophones. Make some music. And I'll catch up with you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.